Hello everyone and welcome to game 2 in the series. This is live versus, well, this is not live. This is Fnatic's, or is it Fanatical? Um, is it Fanatical's Ive? Or it could be Fnatic's Alive. Oh my goodness, I've been reading that all wrong. Okay, so it's Fnatic's Alive versus Squirtle here on Daybreak. Alright, so many ways to read that. So it's Fnatic's Alive versus Squirtle. Alright, I was like, yeah, this is the first time I've ever heard of a player named Live. So, you know what, I'll have to go ahead and double check that. There actually might be a player named Alive, and there might be a player named Live as well. So, I'm just going to call them Terran versus Protoss throughout the rest of the matchup. Until I do get that confirmed. I'm sure the comments have already exploded about how I don't know what name it is, but then again, there's so many ways to read some of these names that it's rather difficult. So I'm gonna go under the assumption that it is Alive versus Squirtle, just because I know Fnatic is in fact an actual team. So Alive versus Squirtle here on Daybreak, Terran versus Protoss once more, and we'll see what the strategies will be. In game 1, Alive really did an effective job of doing a little bit of a head fake, going in for a double racks, and when it looked like he was going for a fast expansion. Squirtle tried to punish that quote-unquote fast expansion with a proxy Stargate, only to find a whole bunch of Marines there to clean it up. The Stargate was cancelled though, and it looks like Alive will be doing the same strategy once more. Now let's see what's going to be happening here. Probe going to be coming up the ramp, taking a look around, and it will see that there is a proxy barracks here and perhaps a supply depot to follow up once again. This probe is going to see that there is no gas, but is he going to fall for the same trick twice? That is going to be the key question. Perhaps Squirtle will try to go for a one gate expand, as we now see the probe once again making its way back in. We are going to have an SCV make its way over as well. The Marine will be popping out, and with this one proxy barracks in a rather unusual location, I don't believe it will be spotted. SCVs wandering around the corner. You can see Cybernetics Core currently warping in as well, so in comes that Cybernetics Core. The probe is going to scout out this barracks though, so Alive's strategy has been revealed, and now Squirtle knows that he cannot in fact try to take that natural expansion all too quickly. He is going to be chrono boosting out of Stalker. He is not getting his warp gate, or he's getting his warp gate tech, but he's not chrono boosting that out. And we'll see how this will all be followed up, as it is going to be perhaps just Stalkers versus Marines in small numbers. The Stalkers versus the Marines. The Stalkers generally have an advantage since they do have superior range and also faster movement speed. But as the numbers start to grow and grow, the Stalkers tend to lose to the Marines, as the Marines are able to focus fire and perhaps just try to charge up a ramp. You can see that a command center is already coming down. Alive doing a great job with this double racks into expand, and now looking to perhaps land his barracks inside his main base here. And this is a really good head fake once more by Alive. Squirtle is going to be a little bit more on the defensive end because he spotted the double racks. He's not sure if his opponent is going to be attacking or not, and now you see Alive setting up a bunker and playing a much more traditional Terran based defense, as we are now going into double gas. So he did delay his barracks, or he did delay his command center in order to get a faster barracks, and I really like this play by Alive, as he isn't really hurting all too much in terms of his economy. Double refineries have been completed. We'll see if he is going to be going into perhaps tech labs on these barracks, but with a double gas he may also try to go into some sort of Banshee play. And knowing Squirtle does not see or does not know what his opponent is trying to go for. He has very little map information. Meanwhile, Alive doesn't have much map information either, but he, I believe, is in the head of his opponent. Now, we'll see what Alive is going to be doing here, setting up a factory. He does have that double gas, as I mentioned earlier, and if he wants to, he could get into cloaked Banshees. But then again, I'm sure Squirtle, and being the competent Protoss player that he is, will transition into observers with that robotics facility shortly. Stalker now backing off. There is going to be two stalkers versus 8 Marines. The Marines does have a superior supply count, so those Marines now holding the Zelnaga tower, just wandering around, and will be able to hold there and sit tight for quite some time. Marines also going to perhaps park itself off over here, and his sole job is to die in order to know when his opponent is coming in, or perhaps to hold this expansion up on the high ground. Marines are backing off. Alive doesn't want to be caught in the wrong position with so many units, as we are now going into a 3-gate. So this may turn into a 2-base 6-gate, and if it is, Squirtle would be very, very aggressive. We already see a tech lab now being placed down. A starport is being built. We should see a swap here in just a moment. And if we go into cloaked Banshees, it's really going to come down to how many Banshees Alive has in order to stop this very aggressive 6-gate play. You can already see that 6 warp gates are coming in. Banshee cloaking field now coming in, and including that Banshee there. And it's really going to come down to how much damage Alive can do with those Banshees, or how many units he can take out during the attack. We should see a little bit of a timing window coming in momentarily. Marines are all gathered together. There are a lot of Marines being added, but no stim as of yet. Nope. Now researching stim. We could get a follow-up Banshee as well. All of this running off of 3 gas, and I really like this decision by Alive to take up this 3rd gas in order to be able to fend off more. We are going into another bunker, but with so many sentries in play, the sentries should be able to just force field those bunkers and deal a lot of damage. The Marines are now walking straight down. They catch sight of this, going up against a large group of stalkers and sentries. Not a good call whatsoever, as the Banshee now barely able to fly away. The Banshee needs to get away. It could get focused down, and there we go. Marines and SCVs coming off the mineral line. Was that Banshee spotted? Yes, it was. Robotics facility now coming in, and I believe that was a mistake by Alive. And we'll see if Alive has to pay for that mistake, as the SCV does get taken down. One bunker does get taken down here. SCV is going to try to repair. It looks like they will not be able to repair. After 5 force fields come down, another force field on the ramp, and the Marines just trying to fall back into more and more bunkers. SCVs constantly repairing here. More Marines jumping inside a new bunker there. SCVs unable to repair this bunker. The Marines could back off into a separate bunker over here, but then now there's no more energy for force fields. Beautiful, beautiful play, as we now see a cloaked Banshee inside the base. Alive, how many worker kills can he get? He stops mining at one of those bases, and now the one cloaked Banshee is out in the field as well. SCVs need to know why did they unload from that bunker, trying to salvage it, not really working out. The Banshee now trying to push back more of those units here, as this Banshee looks to perhaps finish off more units. Observer about to come out here in just a moment. Another unit gets taken out, and Alive barely hangs on. How many workers killed? We are up to 9 workers killed by Alive. Meanwhile, Squirtle taking a little bit of damage, or losing a little bit of his SCVs as well. Stalkers, sentries, and zealots now trying to charge up the ramp. The factory is backing off here. You can see that aggression. Alive is slightly ahead in terms of overall supply. Worker count 51 to 33. All of that supply essentially in workers, as Squirtle now needs to chrono boost out more workers in order to get back into this game. Right now, Alive, with the economic advantage, will be able to train up more units and take a slight advantage, take a lead, as we are now also going into a Raven. So point defense drones could be coming in. We are going into a triple more barracks, so a lot more Marines going to be added as well. And what are these stalkers going to do? Zealots and 1 observer nearby. There is 2 Banshees. These 2 Banshees look to perhaps destroy and take down much of the economy once more. 1 Marine left over here. There is a Raven nearby, and the Raven could spot that observer. There is not enough energy on the Raven yet for a point defense drone. Quickly throws down an auto turret, as the auto turret does attack rather quickly and has the same range as a stalker. Now looking to come in, there is two Banshees here. Are they going to be able to focus down the stalkers? Just gonna try to focus it down, and it does not finish it off. 1 Banshee is going to get taken out. Oh no, down to 6 hit points, and beautiful play by Alive. Alive keeping both Banshees alive ever so barely, but he needs to perhaps decloak these units and park them here for a little bit of time, as the Observer is just going to keep track of them. But the Observer, by keeping track of these Banshees, it does lock up this Observer, and it is going to lock up all of these units as well, as we now see the factory once again on the move. More reactors being added, and I believe another barrack, so we are going into 6 racks play with a starport adding on a reactor as well. So we are going to be double training medevacs. Armory now coming in as the Banshees are just cloaked or uncloaked over here by this one Observer. One Raven still in the air. A point defense drone could be coming in, but we are going into Immortals. Squirtle still down in supply, also down by 12 workers at this stage in the game, as we are going to be finishing another command center here. Double engineering bays, level 2 weapons and armor upgrades could be coming in momentarily. Marines and SCVs looking around the map, trying to hunt down any proxy pylons. Will scout out this one just in time, but I believe Squirtle should be able to just warp in a Zealot if he wanted to actually save it. The Banshees are now going to be making their way over, and with the help of those Banshees, it will force a Stalker to come over, and that one Observer is not going to be able to keep track. One probe does get taken down. I believe the pylon is going to get destroyed, and now perhaps even the Nexus. No, the Marines are not going to be able to finish it. They're going to try to run away, but this pylon has been destroyed as well. Medevacs, Marines, Marauders are making another move. We are going into the robotics bay with Psystorm. That is an Artosis pylon if I ever saw one, and if that one pylon gets taken out, much of the production will be slowed down from Squirtle. Marines and Marauders now making a move. We'll see where all of these units will be going and what is going to be the follow-up, as we already have an orbital command attempting to land at the 3rd. Alive making a move over with a large group of Marines and Marauders. The Banshees could try to come back over to deal a little bit of harassment, but there is a photon cannon there. Probably not going to be altogether that useful, as we are now going into a Mobius reactor for Ghost. And in order to get some EMP shockwaves and really make sure that those Immortals are not as powerful. But it's going to be now another fake, but the Observer catches sight of this absolutely perfectly. Marines and the Marauders are now making their way down. What's going to happen here? Are the medevacs going to be able to execute a drop? There's a scanner sweep, and I believe Alive now decides to back away as the reinforcements are coming in, and now there may be an attack over here. Both sides are splitting up their army, and now in comes the medevac drop, a pull away just to come back in, and now Squirtle is in a little bit of trouble. The photon cannon down over here is going to fall. The Marines and the Marauders are already out of their medevacs, and are we going to get perhaps an escape? One medevac is completely full. Now going to unload more units again, as we now have a pressure into this base here. One Artosis pylon not going to get taken down. Marines and Marauders now trying to engage back. It looks like the Immortals and the Stalkers will fall alive with such a large economic advantage, able to hold on and win the game here, taking a 2-0 lead. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.